Are you stressed at work? Are you tired? Do you dream of starting your own business that you truly love based on your experience and expertise? Well, if you said yes to any of these questions, today's interview is a very special one because this person was able to create a business from his previous experience. And let me read a brief background about my guest today. My guest today is Robert Berry. Robert Berry is an awesome auditor. He does things most auditors don't. I agree with that. He produces and hosts a live show discussing fraud, which is called the Friday Fraudster, and another live show in which he addresses tough internal auditing topics. Robert also self published a best selling book teaching auditors how to ask good questions and another on work papers. He also creates cool audit merch. Wow. Robert is truly talented. In his career, he has served as the chief audit executive for organizations, helping them reduce risk and save millions. He has also worked as the director of Sarbanes Oxley for an organization and has big four experience. Currently, he manages his own company where he's an audit trainer and keynote speaker. You can find him on LinkedIn or at www.thatauditguy.com. Well, before I bring Robert on stage, I think what makes Robert very interesting as an auditor like me, he's very colorful. We generally auditors are very boring and we're very serious, but backstage before doing this interview, I had an opportunity to speak to him, and I think his wit, his wisdom is beyond words, so which makes me very excited. Well, for those of you who don't know me yet, let me also give a quick introduction about myself. My name is Wandalin Tancalupig. I am the first Filipina LinkedIn live broadcaster and also recognized as the most influential Filipina on LinkedIn in 2021 and also a best coach. Now, I do this career reinvention series because I want people to be inspired. So at the end of this interview, I want you to have this, aha moment to say, if Robert can do it, I can do it too. If Wanda was able to do it, I can do it too. The goal is to inspire you that whatever you want to do, you can do it. You can be, do, and have everything you can. So let me bring Robert on stage. Robert, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me. I have been described as colorful before.
You have a very colorful personality. I mean, specifically for auditors, we're kind of serious, right? But
You
I
mean
mean,
all accountants aren't like us? They aren't? I thought they were.
oh. So, Robert, right away, I'll go to the first question because I want to understand how did your career evolve through the years? Because see, a lot of people are afraid of leaving their jobs because they thought that they had to start from scratch. They thought that they're gonna leave their experience and expertise behind. I think I want to understand how did your career evolve through the years?
That's a really good question. I think with my career, I was one of those people who was brought up to believe you go to school, you graduate, you get a job, you find one, maybe two, maybe three companies that you like, and you stay with them forever.
Wow.
Um, it didn't quite work out like that, right? Um, I found myself close to being at the top of my field when I was in my mid 20s. And I just thought that was normal. I thought people ascended in their career very fast. I didn't realize I had some things that I learned later that were kind of special that made me stand out. I didn't realize that. But I think a part of my career evolution was part strategy because I knew kind of what I wanted to do. I knew that auditing was where I wanted to be, and I kind of mapped out a path. This is how you do it. But even when you have a good strategy, there's still timing that has to take place, right? Sometimes I
Hmm.
was just in the right place at the right time and bumped into somebody in the hallway, and then magic happened. And then part of it was just dumb luck. I mean, so like I said, in my mid 20s, I found myself the second person in command in an audit department. I was like, whoa, That doesn't happen to everyone. And so I was meeting with CEOs, CFOs, and other chief executives in organizations and had to develop some really good communication skills very, very fast. But from the time I was like 30 or so, I was at running my own departments for other people, and that's when I realized that the higher you climb up the corporate ladder, the less you're doing those technical skills and the more you're managing other people. But
True.
yeah, I would say the progression was fairly fast, but it was fast because I knew how to talk to people and I knew how to write.
Oh, I love that. I think that actually answers the other question. A lot of people are, scared. What are the transferable skills that I have? And I think, as you're telling the story, you're very good in communication. You know how to write. And I think I want to add one more. You also know how to speak, Robert. I mean, when I attend these conferences specifically for auditors and accountants, I mean, you can sleep, right? I mean, apologies, but with full honesty, I know these auditors and accountants doesn't want to bore us, but there was never course on public speaking, right?
No one sleeps when I'm on the stage, though.
Oh,
I
see,
walk around the audience and I talk to people. No one sleeps.
exactly. I mean, when you look at the audience, some people are sleeping, but I think what makes you very different is that you know how to speak, which is a very, very good skill. Which actually brings me to the next question. What is your favorite part about, starting your own business?
Ooh, oh wow, another good question. So, my favorite part about starting my own business, I would say there are three big things. The first one is ultimately you get to choose what you want to do. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't mean like every day, because there's gonna be that stuff that you hate that you're going to have to do. But I mean at the top of the house, big picture, you get to choose what kind of projects you want to work on. You get to choose who you want to work with. You get to choose. So choice is the first thing that I like. Second thing is you get to make a difference, because I think most of us start our own businesses because we're doing something that's a strength for us and we feel like we're
Mm-hmm.
making a difference. If you're starting a business and you don't feel like you're making a difference with what you're doing, then that's not the business for you, because you're going to lose the passion for it and you'll be burned out shortly.
Hmm.
And so I think the third thing is you kind of have some pride in it. Like you feel really good every day when you wake up. Like I was talking to my mom yesterday, and she said to me, she said, I probably hadn't told you this lately, but I'm really, really proud of you. And I think people see that passion. So for me, the top three things, let me just recap. Choosing what you get to do is the first thing. Making a difference in the world by using your strengths to help other people. And then three, you have this it's unexplainable pride. It's almost like so you have kids, right?
Yeah, I do.
The the first child that you had, what was your first thought the first time you laid eyes? Boy or girl? Was it a boy or girl, your first one?
It's a girl.
Girl. First time you saw her, what was the first thing that came into your mind?
I was blown away. I was like, how did I, create or able to have this child of my own?
That's exactly what it's like in your own business, though, right? Because you say to yourself, wow, look at what I created. Now, granted, a child is much is much more important, but even when you look at people at work, when they're working on a
Mm.
significant project, what do they say? This project is my baby.
Wow, true.
But
Yeah,
but think
true.
about this though, at work you're doing it for someone else. So you're actually
Mm.
birthing and giving life to someone else's baby. And when it's your business, you're birthing and giving life to your own quote unquote baby. Hopefully that analogy doesn't offend somebody. One person is going to be offended. There's always one person. How dare you compare a business to a baby? But you know,
I think as a mother, I agree with you. And as a business owner now, I agree with you. And I think that's true. See, I also started my business for the same reason. I want to choose the people I want to work with, the kind of assignments that I want to manage, using my core skills and core strengths, right? And as you said, when you make a positive, for me, training and coaching was just a hobby, but it became, when I started to get this, the happiness is beyond words when these clients get their aha moments.
Yes.
And I was like telling my husband, this is something I really wanted to do because I got to change the lives of others in a way that I cannot explain, and it's priceless. And as you said, that pride, the joy in your heart is really profound. Actually, the next question is like, I know like a baby, every business has a struggle because like giving birth through something, right? And when you give birth, of course, there's a concept of, you need to create the idea, then you have to make that happen, and then it's a continuous growth like a baby. I mean, what are the struggles that you face during, when you're creating your own business, and how did you overcome
Oh, I'm not sure if I've overcome them all. I mean, it's
that?
it is, to your point, it is extremely, extremely difficult. So for my business, I'd been doing it part time since 2010 or 11 because I just love training people, and I found myself working at a place where I didn't need to be there. I just did not need to be there, and so when I was no longer there, I thought I was lucky. I had some pending contracts with some organizations that would have taken me from being an employee to being a business owner that was automatically successful. And I was like, ha, I beat the odds. Take that. That's what I was thinking. And then the pandemic hit. And
Hmm.
think about this, I was a speaker, or am a speaker and a trainer. And here we have a pandemic that has shut down the entire world.
True. Hmm.
So my prospects for making money in 2020 were zero. um, and I think I told you when we were talking backstage in 2020, I spent more money than I earned.
Hmm.
I still had to live. As a matter of fact, I actually had to move in with friends and relatives. I had no place to live, no place to go, no money coming in. I didn't tell you that part backstage though. See,
No, no.
yeah, I was essentially homeless, had nowhere to go. But what I did know was that I was good at what I did and that I
Hmm. Yeah.
could make a difference. And so I began getting active and engaged on LinkedIn to try and get visibility, because you can have the best product or service, but if no one knows who you are, who cares?
Hmm.
Not going to make any money. So 2020, I did make some money, wasn't enough. 2021 was a better year by leaps and
Hmm.
bounds, but it still wasn't enough. I was still building. I didn't have consistent clients. I didn't have consistent revenue. I still took in less than I spent. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I still took in less money than I spent in 2021. But I continued being consistent with my visibility and trying to get clients. 2022 was another interesting year. I was still staying with friends and relatives. I couldn't afford to live on my own. But somewhere around the middle of 2022, I said, you know what? You just got to go. And so I looked at my friends and relatives and said, see you guys later. Either I'm going to make it or I'm going to fail. And so I
Hmm.
went all in. And in the meantime, I put in a lot of work, right? I think I told you I wrote 2 books during the pandemic. One of them hit the top of the charts on Amazon in the auditing category. I've written a total of 4 or 5 books. I can't remember now, right now. But I wrote 2 during the pandemic. I started doing training programs and things like that. And so the clients began to come to me organically. I've never made an outbound sales call to anyone. All of my business has been people calling me because they see me everywhere. Hey, we see you everywhere on LinkedIn. Last year, I also did 2 keynote speeches at 2 top tier auditing conferences. So it just began but remember now, this is what 2 to 3 years in at this point,
Hmm.
at least 2 years in, because we're approaching 2023 now, right? Uh,
Hmm.
and it wasn't easy. Again, I was homeless. Like, what do you do?
You know, Robert, that's actually a very thank you for sharing that story. I think, that's why I'm having these conversations because people need to real life stories. I mean, and I think what I like about what you said, I mean, there's no filter. I mean, it was difficult 2020, 2020 on, but 2022 is that when everything pick up. It's like planting seeds, right? This is what I always say that. I mean, you were consistently showing up. And I think what I heard is that you believed and you're good in what you're good at, and you actually, know that you can make a positive difference. You went all in. And I've been in other social media platform, but I think LinkedIn is really one of the best because this is where decision makers are. This is where professionals are. I mean, sometimes I put the same post on another social media and LinkedIn. I get bashed on another social media without, and it's like, but LinkedIn is really a game changer for me as well. I became active only in the last 2 years as well, but it paid off so much. And actually, that brings to the next question. During those difficult times for you, how did you motivate yourself? Because, it, I mean, when those days were not easy, it's kind of difficult, right? And how did you motivate that? Okay, I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna do this. How did you do that?
Oh, so I think there are three things, right?
Mm,
First, you got to have a good community. You got to have a good
mm,
community of people, and uh, the pandemic was a terrible thing, but there's always some good inside bad things. And I think the good thing was people from all over the globe began to band together to support one another. So I joined a bunch of networking groups and some visibility groups, and I was talking to people in a bunch of different industries. And so I began to learn from them and support them. They began to learn from me and support me. In some of the groups, we had these daily meetings where we were meeting every day.
wow.
And so while
Mm,
I was alone, I wasn't lonely. And
hmm.
so community is the first thing, the very first thing. Second thing is you got to have a commitment to something. I got three C's here, right? You can tell I'm a public speaker, right? No,
I
you,
can-
you got to have community, and then you got to have commitment. See, I have a commitment to being the best me that I can be in this world. That's it.
Hmm.
That's my commitment. And so whether I'm doing an audit or doing a public speaking engagement or doing a training or emceeing an event, I'm committed to showing up the best that I can. And that's all I can do. Will my best be the best for everybody? No. But it's my personal best, and that's all I can be. That's all I can do. So you got to have a commitment to something. And then the third C is you got to have consistency. And
Hmm.
without consistency, I would have driven myself crazy. And so I got up same time every morning, exercised, same time every morning, and I ate. My group meetings were at the same time every morning. That consistency brings some familiarity in the middle of a bunch of chaos. If I was
Hmm.
just, free flowing every day, I don't think I would have made it.
Hmm. Those are important trees. Those are, golden nuggets of wisdom. So it's about commitment. It's about consistency. And I think, as you said before, you said to your relatives and friends, either I make it or I fail. And you committed to show up, to be successful and to make it, which really is a game changer.
But don't
So
forget about community. That's the most
yeah,
important
the
one because see,
community is the most
you're a part of my
important.
community now.
Yeah, true. Because I also learned the people you surround yourself with can break you or give you a breakthrough. So you need to
Yes.
find the right crowd for you. And I'm happy that you actually found it. Consistency. It sounds boring, right? And it sounds like a
It
cliche.
is boring, but boring is okay. No, seriously,
Yeah.
boring
Yeah.
is cool.
True. True.
And I'll say one thing with that. If you
Yeah.
look at most successful people, like most of the world's millionaires and
Mm,
billionaires, if you notice, there's certain things about them. Specifically, one thing I noticed: most of them
mm.
they wear almost the same thing every day because
Exactly.
it's consistent and it makes their life easy. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. Look at Steve Jobs when he
Mm.
was alive. Basics.
I read this actually that some actually the most intelligent people and the most successful ones have made decision making easier for them. And that's
Absolutely.
why they wear the same clothes because they have to make other big decisions.
Yep.
So community, commitment, and also consistency. Now we're almost towards the end of this one. I know a lot
Already?
of people. Yeah, I hope we can, talk the whole day. But I know a lot of people. Gallup poll said more than 85% of people are unhappy with their jobs. There's great resignation, depression is on the rise. There's loneliness. There's a lot of things going on. But also, people want to quit their jobs, but they are afraid. So, what is your advice for those people who want to forge their career path?
Oh, you mean forge their career path at a company, or if they want to actually be an entrepreneur?
It depends on what they want to do. What is your advice to them? Because I think whether you want to be in corporate or in entrepreneur is a personal decision. But in terms of
Mm.
forging that path to make that decision, what is your best advice? What was the breaking point decision for you that I'm going to be an entrepreneur now? How did you, make a decision?
Well, look, don't do what I did. I was working at a place that wasn't that great, to be honest. So
Mm,
don't do what I did. But no, I guess okay. So advice for someone just in life in general, I would
mm,
say again like three things. First thing is define your values. Like what for me, honesty and integrity are important. For somebody else, it might be something else. So if you define what your core values are, you can actually exhibit those values either working for someone else or in your own business. But I'm always afraid when I ask someone, what are your core values? And they don't know. I'm afraid of that
mm,
person because that means they could just go one way or the other depending on the day. With me, my friends know that I'm going to be honest with them at all times. I'm not going to be mean, but I'm going to be honest because that's one of my core values. So the first thing is define your core values. Second thing is search for the truth. Um,
mm.
I think we live in a world where everybody wants to say, "I'm just speaking my truth." I don't care about your truth. I care about whatever the real truth is, because your truth could be
True.
wrong because it's biased. So is mine. To that extent.
Mm,
So whenever I'm looking at a situation, I want to find out what the real truth is in that situation. When you search for the real truth, that can tell you whether you need to stay at an organization or go to another
mm,
organization, or if you need to start your own business, right? So I'll give you an example. When I started mine, like I said, it was part time, but when I knew I needed
mm,
to go full time, I said to myself, I'm a terrible salesperson. I need to learn sales. That was the
mm.
truth. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, first thing is define your values. Second thing is search for the truth, whatever the truth is. And the third thing is treat people with kindness. Um,
Mm.
and I say this all the time, there's a difference between being nice and being kind. I'm not a nice person, I'm a very kind person. We could talk all day about that, so I won't expand on that. You'll have some people that will disagree and they will be wrong. I'm not a nice
Mm.
person, I'm a kind person. So be kind to people.
I like that what you said about values. I think personally for me also. I mean, and what I learned, if you're very clear about your values, it's very easy to make a decision whether this company is right for you, whether this client is right for you. And even decision making is in anything in life is very easy if you actually know that. And for me, that's why I actually took a career break and I started my own business because for me, it's always family, love, and service. And it came to the point that yeah, I'm earning this much of salary, but at the cost of sacrificing a lot of time for my family, which is create a lot of guilt, which is priceless. So at some point I was like, wait, I can also live my life the way I wanted. And it's about finding, for me, finding my own truth, I think, and getting clear on that values and living that. When I actually did that, I stopped becoming sick also because that misalignment within my values is causing me a lot of stress and sickness, and everything just went good. And actually, when I check your website, this is what is very interesting. You said improve your people, improve your profits. And I think, a lot of people do not understand between the relationship of training your people and, helping them grow and the profits of the company. I mean, I did a lot of studies about this on the impact of happiness to profitability, the impact of happiness on performance. Can you expand more about what are your thoughts about when you improve your people? How can it improve the profits?
Yeah, so the tagline for my company is improving people, processes, and profits.
Mm,
Everything that you do has a process behind it at your organization. Everything. When a process is broken, that's because a person that is doing that process is broken. That person is broken because of you. You've not set the appropriate expectations for them,
Mm,
either through training them or directly communicating them or supporting them in the way that they need to be supported. So if you improve your people, they will in
mm,
turn improve the processes that they're working on, which will improve the profits. And I'll give you a real world practical example. Have you ever gone to a store and you go up to the front to the cashier and that cashier was just mean and mad? Ugh.
mm.
Most likely they had something going on in their head that either they didn't know how to do their job, they didn't know how to ring up the item that they were trying to purchase, or they had asked their boss if they could be off because they had a family event that they wanted to go to and the boss told them no. And so they bring that whole attitude to work.
To work. True.
Now, if
Mm,
you improve that person and their livelihood within the workplace, they're going to treat your customers even better. Happy
mm.
employee will treat your customers in a happy way, which will improve your bottom line. We actually have stores um, here in the States where you have two competitors where one is like a low cost and they don't treat their employees well. They don't do as well as the organizations that actually treat their employees fairer. So improve your people, they'll improve the processes that they work on, which will improve your profits.
That's very good. And I think that's very well said. What I also understand, Robert, is that see, when your people are not happy, when they're stressed, they're going to be sick, right? When they're sick, of course, their performance will drop and that will impact your profits as one. And as you also rightly said, those people will not be doing their job right. And similarly, the customers will have a very bad experience, which will, of course, impact your company's profits again. And I think, people is the most neglected in any organization. And after 20 years of working and number of years of auditing, what I learned, you need to really take care of your people because you can have the best systems, you can have the best process, but one, if people commit fraud, people make mistakes, if you don't tell them what are the company values, guidelines they need to follow, it will fall on the trap, right? So I love what you said. Improve your people and it will improve the profits. Now, the last question for me. Robert, what is your three tips? Because see, success is not about success only in business or in career. It's all about success, I believe, in all areas of the life. And what are your tips so we can have both professional and personal success?
Ooh, you know what? I think I just gave away some of those 3 tips then for personal and professional
Mm-hmm.
success because the first tip is still define your values. I
True.
mean, you can't be successful if you don't know what success looks like for you from a value standpoint. But then I
Mm,
think the second thing is ask a lot of questions. You know, so a lot of people say that for every problem there's an answer. No, for every problem there's a question. The questions lead you to answers. The more you ask questions, the more you'll become
mm,
successful. So, like if you're approaching any career field, you look and the first question you ask yourself is, what do most people do to get success in this field?
yeah,
What are
that's
the
good.
things that some people aren't doing in this field that I can do?
To
What is
fill
the
the
one
gap.
thing that I do better than most people that I can expand upon and do more of? So, the
Mm,
first thing, define your values. Second thing is ask a lot of questions. And then the third thing is take action without a fear of failure.
hmm.
Just do it, man. Just go. Look, I think I told you I have 4 podcasts. You think that first episode was good? No, it sucked. It was horrible, but I did it. And
Mm. That's crazy, right? But Robert, thank you so much. I think again, values, as you said, you cannot define success without knowing what your values are, because then again, it will be it will be a mismatch. Second, asking the question. I love that quote which says, "The quality of your life depends on the question you ask yourself."
yep.
And the last thing, what was the last thing you said?
Um wait. Eh,
We got so
oh,
excited.
take action.
Take
Actions.
action. Yeah, I learned that fear will always be there, but action is the antidote to fear. You need to do messy things, learn from it, and that's how you will grow.
But see,
Now, Robert.
I
Yeah,
think fear is a good
exactly right.
thing. I think fear
Yeah.
is a good thing.
True, true. Now, Robert, how can people reach you? I know a lot of people can learn from you to training, to speaking through your podcast. Can you please share how can they reach you and what's the best way to connect with you?
Ooh, so reach out to me if you have some corporate professionals that need soft skills training. I teach active listening and things like that, primarily for auditing and accounting professionals. And you can reach me at my website, www.thatauditguy.com, or you can go to LinkedIn. I'm all over LinkedIn every day. That is the place that I love to be. So between my website and LinkedIn and any of my podcasts, you can find me and reach out to me.
Thank you, Robert, for your time. Again, we would like to thank everybody who's watching us on live or on replay. This is a career reinvention series interview with professionals who have successfully started their own business. And I thank Robert, you have shared so much wisdom today that a lot of people will learn from. I learned a lot myself. Thank you for your time.
Thank
God
you.
bless you. Thank you. Bye.